Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Lacey. Hello. Good morning again, Mon, huh? Hello, Jaden. How are you? Caesar, did I see you coming in the other day with a sling on? We'll wait just a couple more minutes to see if we get some new people in. So if you guys did not take your theater test, please make sure that you do so by the end of Friday. There were a few people who did not take it, and so we need to get that taken care of for sure. I want to make sure that everybody gets credit for their first summative, so please go ahead and do that before Friday. And then today we're going to start our playwriting unit. Hooray! I think you guys will like the playwriting unit. There's going to be a lot of creative stuff involved and all right, we've got a bunch of people coming in now. All right. Hello, Ivan. How are you? Eric, I need you to do the stuff in advisory, if you can do that for me. I sent you an email about it. You're bored? All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, I think. I've got everybody who's here. Oh, wait, I missed a couple of people. All right, so today we're gonna talk about we're gonna introduce playwriting, okay? So that's our next unit, is going to be playwriting. So the first thing I wanted to do for you guys was to just do sort of it's in Schoology, Eric. I sent messages and 2 messages last night in Schoology. But yeah, I wanted to do just a quick sort of like history of playwriting to introduce you to playwrights you may not have heard of, to sort of give you an idea of all the topics that people have written plays about. And so basically you can start thinking about people that you might want to research for your project, right? That you're going to be doing next. So today you're going to be, I'm sort of like going to give you just a brief sort of introduction to a bunch of different playwrights. And I want you to jot down any names or any topics that seem interesting to you so that then you can start sort of looking at them in more detail. And that's basically what we're going to do today. So we're going to review some people, some things about the history of playwriting, a very quick, brief rundown on some popular choices, some people that it would be easy for you to research if you pick them, but you are not obligated to choose just one of these people. If there's another playwright that you have in mind, that's fine with me, which is what you're going to do in 3 for finding inspiration. Then we're going to talk about our homework for our next class, and we are going to be working on dialogue next class. So, what were some of the first plays that we have that were written? Where do those come from? Okay, so Marco's got us in Europe. That's correct. What can we be more specific about where in Europe they came from? The first plays that we talked about. England? No, not England. We've got some that predate England. Rome? We have some that predate Rome, but we're getting warmer. Greece, there we are. Okay, yes, right? We've also, so ancient Greece was where we started, right? We have a few plays from ancient Greece, around 40, right? So those are some of the first plays that we have that were written from Western theater. There are some from India that like predate those, but as far as Western theater is concerned. So some playwrights that we've talked about previously. Name a playwright that we've previously talked about and a kind of a play that they wrote. Terence, okay. And what was Terence known for? What did he write? What genre of play did he write? Jasmine says Henrik Ibsen. What kind of plays did he write? No, later he's going to write symbolism, but earlier he's mostly known for realism, right? That's okay. I mean, both are correct. It's just so what did Terence write? What kind of plays did he write? I'm not looking for the name of a play. I'm looking for the genre of the plays that he wrote. Comedies. Yes. Thank you, Marco. All right. So Terence, who wrote comedies. We have Ibsen, who wrote plays in the realism style. What about tragedy? Who have we talked about who wrote tragedies? Yes, he did, Marco. Yep. We had some tragedies in Rome. Does anybody remember A person in Rome who wrote tragedy? Nope, Horace wasn't a playwright. Horace wrote criticism on plays. Plautus wrote comedies. Come on, guys. You got to keep this stuff in your brain. Yes, some plays wanted to teach lessons. You're right. I'm only hearing from about 3 people. I'm going to start calling on people, especially those of you who have your cameras off. Ha! Everybody's turning their cameras on now. Somebody who wrote tragedy. Come on. So just anybody who wrote tragedy. Who did we talk about that wrote tragedies? There's a bunch. Seneca. Thank you. There's one. You mean Euripides, Jasmine? That's another one. All right. What about from Elizabethan England? Who did we talk about in Elizabethan England who wrote tragedies and comedies and histories? Who wrote all those things? Yes, Lacey, Shakespeare. All right. You guys are, I'm starting to get worried about you guys. Are we just not awake today? You gotta, you just because the quarter's over doesn't mean that like all that information just gets to leave, okay? So we're gonna cover some playwrights we haven't gotten a chance to talk about yet. So far, what are the main genres of plays that we've covered? We just talked about all of them. Tragedy, comedy, those are the 2 big ones. And then we've talked about a couple other things, right? We've talked about histories with Shakespeare, okay? All right. So the definition of playwright. Let's see. Paul, can you read this slide for us?
Right, someone who crafts or creates things. The word first appears in 1605, used by Ben Jonson, who was actually using it to make fun of a poet, John Marston. It isn't used positively to describe someone who writes plays until the 1900s.
Yeah, exactly. So a write is someone who crafts or creates something, which is why we spell playwright, W-R-I-G-H-T, instead of W-R-I-T-E, okay? So the playwright is the person. And I think we went over this before, right? The playwright is the person, and what they craft is the play. So make sure that you keep those 2 things separate in your head. The document is a play. The person who writes the document is a playwright. So in these exercises, you're going to be writing some dialogue. You're going to eventually write a short play. You will be a playwright by the end of this section, okay? Good. So I'm going to give you some ideas about some playwrights that you might be interested in using for your project. It is by far not a complete list. I just picked some playwrights that I thought that you might find interesting, some playwrights that I thought would be accessible, some playwrights that I thought would be fairly easy to research. So you can find inspiration with another writer if you choose, or if you already know of a playwright that you like, you can use that. Okay. This is just to sort of introduce you to some new people. All right. First, female playwrights. Haiti, why don't you read this list for us? We got 3 here.
Okay. Is it Afra?
Yep. Aphra Behn.
Okay, Afra Ben, a spy, a playwright, and one of the first women to make a living by writing. Her most famous play, The Rover. And then there's Wendy Westerstein,
Yep.
Tony Award and Pulitzer Prize winner feminist. Her most famous play, The Heidi Chronicles. I was in this one. You were in that one? Okay.
Yeah, I did that one my freshman year of college.
Yeah. Susan Laurie Parks, the first Black woman to win a Pulitzer for Top Dog/Underdog.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got some ladies here who have various accolades and have won Pulitzer Prizes and Tony Awards. And of course, this is not a full list. I just thought you might find one of these 3 interesting. All right. Let's see. Benjamin, why don't you read us this slide? Playwrights of color.
Alexandre Dumas. Although you probably know him because of The Three Musketeers, his first works were plays. Langston Hughes. This poet and activist also wrote 6 plays during the time of the Harlem Renaissance. August Wilson. With Fences and Piano Lesson, Wilson gave a voice to the inner cities of Chicago and Philadelphia.
I think he froze up a little bit, but yeah, he talks about Chicago and Philly and what it's like to grow up in those places and live in those places in the 80s. Okay, so again, not a complete list. I just wanted to sort of introduce you to some people that I thought you might find interesting or maybe you've heard about before. All right, award-winning playwrights. Jermaine, why don't you read this one for us?
Lin-Manuel Miranda, Hamilton, but in the Heights, another play about immigration, is also pretty good. Check out the soundtrack. The movie is out next year. Tracy Letts, August of Osage County, and starred in Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. He writes about families falling apart. Jonathan Larson, Gone Too Soon, the mastermind behind Rent.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got Lin-Manuel talking about his plays are a lot about immigration. We have Tracy Letts, who deals with families and them breaking down and tension within families. And then Jonathan Larson, who unfortunately died of AIDS, but before he died, created Rent. All right, just a few more. We've got Oscar Wilde, who of course wrote The Importance of Being Earnest. His story is really interesting, and his plays reflect that. He ends up like being imprisoned for being openly gay. Arthur Miller, who writes a lot of plays that are really realistic with characters who are flawed, they are troubled, but they're everyday people. His play, The Crucible, is very famous. It's also probably, it's really a play that's about McCarthyism. George Bernard Shaw, who wrote Pygmalion, which ends up being the source for My Fair Lady. Major Barbara and St. Joan, which is commentaries on modern politics and his support of socialism. Tony Kushner, Angels in America, A Bright Room Called Day, Caroline or Change, plays that address racial inequality and LGBTQIA issues. Okay, so here's a few more options, some people that I thought you might have already heard about. So, what I want you to do, and I'm going to give you some time to do this, is to pick a playwright that I've listed that sounds interesting, or look up plays based on a topic that means something to you. If you cannot find a play, I will help you. You may have to try a few times to find a play that seems really interesting, and that's okay. Use this time to find a source of inspiration for you, whether you like the writing style, the plot, the subject matter, anything that really draws you in. If you don't already have a library card, you can get a free one from the Arlington Library, and then you can use their online resource to check out plays as well. So if it's something that you're having a hard time like tracking down, you can probably get it at the library. All right. So I want you to, let's see. Let's give you like, it's 11 after. It's 20 minutes to start. And then if we need more time, we'll take more time. Let's do, actually, we'll start at 20. And if people need more time, we'll take more time. Okay. And when you find what you think you want to focus on, I'm going to give you a Padlet. So here's the link to the Padlet. And I want you to put the playwright and the play that you are thinking about researching in the Padlet. Okay. Now you are not locked in to this. Sundus, there's the Padlet. If you like, as you're working on it, if you find somebody else that you like better, that's fine. Okay. You don't have to sort of like lock yourself into this person, but I want you to have sort of an early concept that you can start working with, because this project is due in what? We've got like 2 weeks. So the earlier you get started on it, the earlier you find a person, the better off you're going to be. Okay. As you're looking, again, if you're struggling to find, somebody that you really like, reach out to me, let me know, and I will help you find someone that I think you might be interested in researching. Yes, you can use any of the playwrights that I talked about in this lesson, or you can use any other playwright that you find interesting. If you need to go back and look at the list, go to Schoology, and the PowerPoint is in Schoology. So if you want to look at the rest of the list, go ahead and do that. No, the project is not Padlet. For now, you're just telling me what you think that you're going to research. You can do the project however you wish. You can put it in a Google Doc. You could do Google Slides. You could make a YouTube video. I don't care how you do your project. Where the Padlet is just for me to know what you think you're gonna research. This week, it's the week of October 19th. Because it is October 19th was Monday, so. Jermaine, I have not given the specifics out for the paper yet because the project comes first. But the paper is different. Like the paper is really about your process for the project. So let me give you, this is what it says. I'm going to post this in the chat and then I will post it in Schoology. You're picking a playwright and then a play. Oh, it can be any playwright. I'm simplifying this because it won't let me put the whole thing in. But this is the paper is these three things. So I've put the things about the paper in the chat that you're going to eventually write about the project. I'm trying to make it so that you can sort of get a 2-for-1, right? You read the play, you do the project, and then the essay is just sort of presenting that information in a slightly new way. The link to the Padlet, yes, it will still work after today. Okay, the Padlet. Corey, I think you came in after the Padlet. So here's the link to the Padlet again. Make sure you put your name in the Padlet too, because I need to know who's doing what. And I'm going to go ahead and post the project overview in the Schoology as well. Okay, so I'm putting in Schoology the information about the project, okay? And then I will separately put the information about the paper. I'm just referring to the paper very briefly at the bottom of it. So once we get through, once everybody's posted their playwrights and plays, then I will we'll talk about the project altogether. Okay, so let's see, I've got Corey's, I've got Jaden's, I've got Hades. I don't know who posted this, but I will start making it so that you cannot post unless I give you permission, in which case then I will know who tried to post that. And you know that that's inappropriate. I've got Laturo's, I've got Jasmine's, I've got George Bernard Shaw. I don't know who else picked Lin-Manuel or Afra-Bain. You need to put your name on it. Sundus has picked Oscar Wilde. Jermaine has picked Piano Lesson. Manha has picked Long Day's Journey into Night. Paul has picked Hamilton. Benjamin, can you put your name? Can you add your name to the Padlet? Okay, I'll put it in there. And then Abdullah, you also picked In the Heights? Or, yeah. There's a lot of people picking Lin-Manuel, so just remember that then I'm going to be able to judge your presentation off of what your peers also put in. So just think about that. Anna, Lin-Manuel did not write West Side Story. So if you're interested in West Side Story, that's fine, but it's Stephen Sondheim. I added it for you, Benjamin. No, West Side Story is still being produced, so. So that's actually Stephen Sondheim, which you can do West Side Story if you want to. It just. That's Lin-Manuel Abdullah. It's called 21 Chump Street. I don't think you're going to be able to write enough about that because it's only a one act. It's only a 10-minute play. Okay, we've got the importance of being earnest. We've got somebody else picking Hamilton. Again, I'm just going to remind you that the more people who do Hamilton, the more people I have to sort of weigh each other. Those of you who are, all of you who are picking Hamilton, is it just because you know it, or is it because of something specific? I might be able to give you some options that you might be interested in. Those of you who enjoy musicals, there's a really good musical. Oh, there's so many. Let me think. Let me check my. It's the only play you fully watched. Okay, so let's help you out then. Why don't you give me a topic that you are interested in, and maybe I can help you pick something that. Well, the version that you're watching is not really the, I mean, it's sort of the play. There's Hairspray. There's, if you want something that's a little bit more sort of serious, what is the name of it? Spring Awakening is a good one. Yes, you can, you don't have to, you're not locked in with this, okay? You can change. I just want to know like what you're sort of starting to think about. Yeah, Spring Awakening is a good one. It's very different. The music is very sort of in your face. They had a live rock band on stage. Okay, Emma's picking falsettos. There's one, Assassins is one that you might like. It's a play about, or a musical that's about people who have, it's another Sondheim, by people who have killed or successfully killed presidents of the United States, successfully or not killed presidents of the United States. What else? Sweeney Todd, if you like horror, you can, that one's about, revenge, about a man who comes back to London to take revenge on the people who sent him to a penal colony. Plays on Netflix. Let me think. I don't know that is there anything that says like, there we go. There is also a service called Broadway HD. I think you can get a free week or a free month of it usually. That has just, it's all it is, our plays. That's all it is. Broadway plays. There's also the Royal Shakespeare Company has been putting like tons and tons and tons of plays online because of the pandemic. Not just Shakespeare, but other stuff too. Their Macbeth is really great. So is their Hamlet. Rent is on Disney Plus. Cats, of course, which, oh my God. Company. Falsettos is on Amazon Prime and Broadway HD. Sunday in the Park with George is on Amazon Prime, which has Jake Gyllenhaal in it. Nicholas Nickleby is on Broadway HD. Billy Elliot is on Amazon Prime. So yeah, there's lots and lots and lots of things. Cats was bad, I agree. Sweeney Todd is very interesting. It's very, I mean, the music is great. Not the Johnny Depp one, the other one. But yeah, so you're not locked in, but I want you to start rolling on this because of the fact that, the project is, you've got 2 weeks to do the project. You've got longer to do the paper, right? I wanted to stagger it. So the project is due in like 2 weeks. Then the paper isn't due for another 2 weeks after that to space it out, right? Because I'm trying to make it so that each summative in this class is like, you already had your first one, then you have 2 weeks now till your second one, and then you have 2 weeks after that till your third one, so that it's not like all at once. So let's see, what else? Has everybody picked one? Or those of you who haven't picked one, I know that you haven't picked one and why. When is the project due? It is going to be due on November. Wait, you guys are B-Day, right? November 9th. No, wait, I'm sorry. That's not right. November 5th. I was looking at the wrong project. November 5th is when it's due. So you have 2 weeks from today. That's why I wanted you to get started on it. So let's go to Schoology together really quick and look at what I just put up for this so that you guys know what's going on. It's basically what you've practiced doing in groups, but now you're doing it by yourself, okay? So I put it in this week because this is when we're starting it. Let me put this, I'm going to edit it and put some stars. Project, if I can spell. Okay. So if we go into Schoology for this week, can you guys see my screen? Playwright project, okay? So for this project, you choose, oh, it says one of the following. That's the other class. You guys get to pick. You will choose a playwright. And discuss what they've contributed to theater, okay? Remember, you must use and cite at least one source for the project and for the paper. It can be the same source. Use the same source, right? If you're going to put it in your project, then put it in your paper. Your research should come from credible sources. Your project will do the following. Number one, you're going to introduce the writer to us. Number two, you're going to discuss the kinds of things that they write about, okay? And number three, you're going to give a brief synopsis of who is posting these things in the Padlet? That's not appropriate. You're acting like sixth graders or children. All right. Let's see who it is. I have approval on now, so you can't post anything like that. Yeah, that's because approval's on now. And I'm deleting all the things that they're posting. Only I'm seeing them. Okay, let's focus on what we're talking about. Your project's going to, number one, introduce the writer to us. Number two, it will discuss the topics they write about. And number three, you're going to give a brief synopsis of the play that you've chosen. That play is what you're going to write your paper about. Okay? So that's how they connect. The paper that you are required to write will be a critique of the play that you wrote your synopsis about, which we will go over in class. Okay? So your paper is just a critique of the play that you watched, basically. Okay? That's all you have to do. So I'm not trying to make it overly complicated. You've already practiced doing this type of assignment. Now you're just doing it on your own. Okay. Yes, you can always turn them in early. However, I have built in days where you can potentially work with me on a draft. So for instance, the paper, there's like a day where we're going to do peer reviews. So that would be a good day to maybe like, I think it's like the week before. Yes, Corey. No, you mean the paper, the synopsis? You have to type that out because I have to have the, yeah, you have to type that out because I have to have the actual like words, the word count. Sure, I'll edit this and put the date, the due dates on the bottom. I guess we're not going to be able to do Padlets anymore. So whoever has ruined Padlets for us, you can thank them for that later. It is, your project is going to be due on November 5th. The paper is due November 19th. Okay, so there's that. So I put that at the bottom so you have 2 weeks to do the project and you have 2 weeks after that to finish the paper. So you don't have to do it all at once, okay? All right. Let's go ahead then. Let's see, we have just a couple more minutes. I'm going to give you some homework because while we are working on this for the project, you're also going to be working on actually working on a short scene, okay? So we're going to be sort of doing 2 things at once. So your homework is going to be writing down pieces of conversation that you hear between now and the next time that we meet. So you have between now and next week, anytime you hear something interesting, write it down, and then think about and write down what made you sort of find, like, why did you find that interesting and what made it worth writing down, all right? Bring that with you to your next class because we are going to use that when we are writing dialogue, all right? This is basically exactly the same as a introduction to creative writing class assignment that I did my freshman year of college, okay? It's to help you sort of start listening to how people really talk and how they exchange information. So that's what you have to do for your homework. So whether you want to like put it in your phone, you want to put it, in an actual notebook, however you want to do it, it's fine with me. You're just going to note down things that you found interesting and why, sort of reflect on why you found them interesting. Your exit ticket, which is in Schoology, is I want you to tell me in Schoology the playwright that you thought that you found interesting. Doesn't have to be the same as the one you're going to research. Why, and do you relate the topics that they wrote about in any way? So put that in Schoology. And once you have completed that, that's it for today. And we will be together again on Monday. Yeah, for the homework, it can be about anything. It doesn't have to be about the playwright that you are going to write about for your presentation. It should be History of the Playwright exit ticket. It'll be the only exit ticket in this week's folder. No problem. And for those of you who have or are struggling to pick a topic or a play, feel free to shoot me an email, come by my office hour. We can talk about like stuff that you're interested in, and I can help you like find a play or a playwright that writes about those kinds of stuff, because I promise you, like if you're interested in a topic, it's out there. I think you may have accidentally submitted it on Tuesday. Bye, Marco. Yeah, so that's okay. It's all right. It was an accident, not a big deal. You too, Benjamin. Bye, Paul. It's okay. It was an accident. I'm going to have to like organize the exit tickets better because people are getting confused. Bye. Okay, Corey, thank you so much. You have a good day. I'll see you later. Bye, Jasmine.